Welcome to Profitable Women, a podcast for the female business owner who wants to build a profitable and sustainable business that aligns with their life. We will talk about the money stories impacting your decisions, financial strategies to grow your profits, and how to embrace your female superpowers. I'm your host, Sheila Hansen, certified public accountant, business mentor, and certified coach. As a wife, mom of 3, and business owner, I have spent the last 7 years supporting 6-figure business owners make confident financial decisions while raising my babies. After making the hard decision to leave my job at a public accounting firm when I had my oldest, I'm now on a mission to empower women to build wealth without sacrificing themselves. If you find yourself avoiding conversations about money, are burnt out from working all the time, wonder where your cash goes, or want to learn how to pay yourself 6 figures, you're in the right place. Remember, the information in this podcast is general in nature and for educational purposes only. For specific financial advice for your situation, please consult a professional. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the show. Welcome back to Profitable Women. Today's episode, I have a confession for you. Having spent a large portion of my career preparing taxes, my confession to you is I am an accountant who doesn't enjoy talking about tax deductions. And I know this might sound odd, but I want to give you some context behind this and dig into this confession a little bit more. So first of all, I want to preface this by saying, in no way do I not talk to my clients about tax deductions. We do. We discuss that. We make sure when we're filing their returns, they are getting all of the deductions available to them and that they understand what applies to them. And we do have those conversations. But having those conversations and enjoying having those conversations for me are kind of two different things. And I get it from the business owner side of things. As you step into this world of business ownership, especially if we came from the world of being a W-2 employee, where I would say our taxes, while they might have seemed complicated, were very basic in what information was needed to prepare those returns. A lot of it was done or given to you on very specific forms. And so as you step into the world of business ownership, a lot changes. Your whole world, when it comes to that, has all of a sudden become a lot more complex. So I want to honor that. I'm not saying that this is not something that you shouldn't understand. I just want to share with you my confession on the 3 reasons why I don't enjoy these conversations. So first of all, it, to me, brings up a scarcity mindset. And as a new business owner, I get it. We're trying to navigate this world. We want to make sure we're not paying more than we need to be. But I also see that so many people, when they start out in business, are trying to reduce their tax liability down as low as possible. But in doing so, we're not making decisions that are best for our business, right? We're so worried about the focus of our tax liability, we forget about the whole other side of the equation, which is taxes only happen when we have taxable income. How our tax system in the US works is it's a percentage of our taxable income. So if we have no taxable income, we have no tax liability, which I can guarantee you that if you want to pay no taxes, I can help you come up with no taxable income. And probably the easiest way is to send you an invoice from myself for whatever your taxable income amount would have been. And we shift that from you to me. And I am totally happy to do that if that is what you want. But most people are looking for cash in the bank and to not pay taxes. And I'm sorry to break it to you, those two probably aren't very likely. What I encourage small business owners to really focus on is getting out of the scarcity mindset. How do we make more money so that taxes aren't really an issue? because we have more money. That's the abundance side of things. Accepting that taxes are part of it. We're going to plan and prepare so it's not a shock, because that's totally different than knowing that it's coming, having the cash available, and just paying it in. So the number one reason I really don't enjoy these conversations is because it's just so scarcity focused. And I want entrepreneurs to have this beautiful abundance mindset that there is always more. There's always more clients out there. There's always more taxable income for them. And let's shift away from this idea that we don't want to have any taxable income, because that probably means you're not profitable. You're not making money. What is the point of your business if that's the case? Now, number two, the second reason I don't enjoy these conversations, I 100% blame on our current tax code. It is way too complex. There is no reason that tax code should be written the way that it is. And the best way I can explain it to you as I read through old or new things that are coming up, I think they sit in the back room writing these laws with those Mad Lib books, where you have to add like an adverb and a noun and an adjective, and you fill in that story with all these random like characters. I think they do that for tax code. And it's like, okay, we need a formula. Okay, now let's add 3 more factors to that formula. Okay, now we need to exclude something, whether that be a particular type of entity or a particular subset of industries. Let's exclude something. Okay, now we have to have a different set of rules for this other group. And then, we need 2 more formulas because we don't have enough formulas yet. And then, we need to pull 2 or 3 different numbers from the tax return somewhere else that we can tie this calculation to. Yep, I think we're getting pretty close, but I don't think we're quite there yet. So I see the TikTok videos, people send them to me, I see them, where people are explaining tax code or attempting to explain deductions to you in 30 seconds, or maybe at most 2 minutes. And let me tell you, they are leaving out half of the Mad Lib, or more than half of the Mad Lib that goes along with those deductions. And so I really dislike that as the professional, I have to come to you and say, this is a deduction, but it depends. Or this is the rule, and here are all of the ways that we have to jump through the hoops to make that happen. And that's where I don't enjoy talking about it, because I love that most of the clients on my roster right now, I have such a close relationship to, that they trust me to come to them if there is something that applies to them or not. And we don't have to sit on an hour-long call to prepare their tax return where I go through and ask all of these potential questions that might impact their taxes, because there are so many things and it doesn't need to be this complicated in my mind. So that is the second reason I don't enjoy talking about tax deductions. The third one is when we boil down the conversations, I think people come to their accountant like expecting this really sexy tax answer, like, ooh, there's something out there that I don't know about that applies to me, and I want to take advantage of this. Give it to me. Like, what is it? What am I missing? Tell me about this strategy that's out there. And honestly, there's probably nothing, but maybe there is. But if there is something that's available to you, it will most likely require that you have cash available. Okay. So one of the most common questions I get about tax deductions is, can my business buy a vehicle? And yes, in some cases you may. I'm going to go back to the whole answer. It depends. Okay. If we have a strictly online business that we are never traveling anywhere other than maybe the bank or maybe the post office, it's going to be really hard for you to make that argument that your business is required as an ordinary and necessary expense for your online business. Okay. This is the number one question people ask me. And there are 2 different calculations for it. So then we have to go into the complexity. But the other part of it is we have to be able to pay for that vehicle. We have to have the cash to either get a loan and pay the loan payments or pay the cash down to get the vehicle. So we have to have cash available for these deductions. The other really common area that we start out working in for small business owners is putting money away towards retirement. Again, that can be a tax savings. We can do that with tax planning and strategies in mind, but we have to have the cash to be able to put into those retirement accounts. So I often like to step back and have different conversations with my clients because, again, we want to take advantage of the deductions available to us. We want to have systems where we have our records and we're coding things properly. And we have regular bookkeeping because that honestly is your best bet at capturing all of your deductions. We want to have that in mind. But we also want to be focused on profitability. And I don't want you spending money at the end of the year to simply reduce your tax liability. If we go back to that fundamental principle of taxes, they are a percentage. Think of them as a coupon. You get a 20% discount or a 30% discount when you spend money to save on taxes. You had to give up the dollar in order to save the 20, 30, 40 cents. Let's flip that mindset to keep our 60 cents in our own pocket unless it truly does make sense to spend that money for our business. So, those are the 3 reasons that I am confessing to you that as an accountant who has prepared tax returns for, I think, almost 20 years now, I think we're at like 17 or 18, I don't enjoy talking about tax deductions. 1, because I want you to think bigger. I want you to think about the greater possibilities out there than simply reducing your tax liability. It's overly complex. And I see it when I go into all of the details on what's necessary that people's eyes gloss over. And the Mad Libs, they're crazy. And the third one is let's focus on cash flow. Let's focus on having cash in our business and making better decisions for what will help our business become profitable and sustainable in the future. So I'd love to hear what you think about tax deductions. If you follow me on social media or you're on my email list, share your stories with me and let's work to make taxes not so complex. That's my confession for today. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Profitable Women. Make sure you never miss an episode by hitting the follow button in your favorite podcast player. And things are always easier when you talk about them with a friend, so be sure to share this episode with them. If you're looking for more ways to grow your financial confidence, head to the show notes for a link to subscribe to our weekly email. Until next time.